So it's quite obvious that over the past couple of years, EA Sports has pretty much been dictated by making money. They completely disregard requests from fans on how to improve, instead choosing to fill their games with DLC packs or loot boxes, and there was even a case with Sims 4 where EA worked out a way to sell DLCs for their DLCs, basically making it so that you had to buy both due to the fact that these DLCs would be obsolete unless they were paired together. So it's really not new information at this point that EA has been in the midst of controversy for what seems like an eternity. Lots of their decisions have been heavily criticized by fans of FIFA, Madden, Battlefield, and more, and for good reason. Now, there's a YouTuber named SomeOrdinaryGamers who, in my opinion, did a really great job at explaining some of the issues surrounding EA, so if you're interested, I'd consider checking out the plethora of videos he's made talking about this sort of thing. And what's funny to me is that he and other people have been saying these things for years and nothing has changed. Fans have been asking to see change for a while, and for the most part, these issues have never been addressed, just masked by some minuscule changes here and there. A perfect example of this would either be the FIFA series or the Madden series. Both of them kind of achieve the same goal, which is to pump out the same game year after year, while EA adds some minor tweaks in between. And the thing is, these tweaks are usually just changes in rosters or player ratings, so it's really nothing special. And because of this, single player modes in Madden and FIFA usually become stale, at least for me, and more often than not, these games will experience terrible issues with latency while playing multiplayer. Now, for a company as well renowned as EA Sports, you would assume that they'd be a lot more wary of this sort of stuff, but I guess that's why trusting assumptions can be misleading. Actually, now that I think about it, I also kind of get this feeling that EA knows exactly what's wrong with their games, yet they don't care, and they don't take any action, because they still make crazy amounts of money every year from their cash grab franchises. Whatever the issue is, people are mad right now. Madden 21 was released about a week ago, and it was definitely not received well by fans. In fact, at the time of recording, the game has been rated a 0.3 out of 10 based on 3,581 user votes on Metacritic. That is bad. It was so bad that the Madden community has taken their cause to Twitter, getting the hashtag #EndMaddenMonopoly to the trending page. And if the word monopoly seems a bit excessive here, trust me, it's a completely reasonable description of what EA is doing, at least with Madden. EA is the only company right now that has an exclusive license from the NFL, which removes all competition when it comes to producing and selling a video game. And that allows EA to throw as many DLCs and mediocre updates at us as they want, because they are the only ones who are allowed to create NFL video games. At least with other sports such as soccer or football if you're not from the US, there are alternatives to FIFA, for example Pro Evolution Soccer. Now, I know people like to clown on PES, and it's not my favorite game in the world, but through them we at least have a competitor to EA which stops them from becoming a monopoly. Obviously, this is not the case with Madden, and that amplifies the issues that are seen in pretty much any EA game by about 1,000%. Now, I haven't really played Madden 21 or Madden 20 for that matter, but from the posts I've seen online, there just happens to be a lack of effort when it comes to producing the game. Even more so than with games such as FIFA or Battlefield, which is really telling. And I don't know if Madden fans are calling for the NFL to end their ties with EA, or if they're just asking for the league to give out more exclusive licenses to developers, but fans at least want to see the monopoly come to an end. Now, with the hashtag #EndMaddenMonopoly trending, I see a lot of tweets, and in these tweets, I see a lot of people bringing up NFL 2K5 and how they thought it was a lot more enjoyable than the games EA had released. The reason they're bringing up such an old game is because this was the last NFL game that wasn't produced by EA. There was a point in time where both 2K and EA were making NFL games, but that eventually came to an end when the NFL chose to give EA Sports exclusive rights over 2K because they thought 2K was devaluing their brand. Now, I think that the league believed this to be true because NFL 2K5 was priced at $20, whereas Madden costed $50, but if you look at the Metacritic scores of both, Madden 2005 was rated a 7.4 out of 10 with 30 total ratings, and NFL 2K5 was rated a 7.9 out of 10 with 123 total ratings. So, I don't know, were they really devaluing your brand? I don't think so, in my opinion, and what really devalues a brand is when that brand or an associate of it shows a lack of effort when it comes to creating quality products, especially when loyal customers are asking for what seems like really minor changes to be implemented. This is basically the sort of thing EA's been doing for the past 5 years or so. I mean, just look at this clip that was posted on Twitter by @MrBillyVegas. This is 5 years worth of Madden games, and they used the same Super Bowl celebration in every one. No wonder these games all feel the same. You're basically just paying $60 for a version update every year. And I already know that some people are gonna say, oh, it's only $60 a year, that's how much you pay for Spotify. The thing with that though is I actually like supporting Spotify with my money because they offer a consistently great service. With EA games on the other hand, it just never seems worth the money. The problem though is that millions of people are paying EA each year regardless of how trash their games are. And as long as EA is making money, it's going to keep producing absolute garbage. Regardless, if I'm paying $60 for a video game, I expect it to be a quality one. That doesn't mean these games have to be perfect, just worth the cost. But the issues that these games have are too apparent and too frequent. And so sometimes I wonder if EA even tests their games before release, because a lot of the issues these games have can be noticed during your first session of playing it. And as an example, here's another tweet by @MrBillyVegas. In this graphic, we can see that EA has mistakenly spelled Seahawks as Seahawks. This is a game revolving around the NFL, and you can't even double check to make sure that you spelled the name of an NFL team correctly. Now that is devaluing a brand. Anyway, I'm glad Twitter brought some light onto this issue. It's something that I'm sure many of us are aware of, but I still think it's important to have these sorts of discussions because they can inform people who weren't aware of these things before. But if I'm being honest, with EA's track record, I don't know if people should hope for change anytime soon. I'm sure they are fully aware of all the different criticisms that have been sent their way, but like I said before, as long as they're making money, why would they care? So the only logical way to solve this is if most of EA's customers stopped buying their games. And I really don't know how plausible that is though, because people just seem to forget all about these problems when it's finally time to pre-order the new FIFA or Madden game. So yeah, unless we can all work together, I think EA is going to be around for a long time. All we can do now is hope that the NFL listens to us and extends their exclusive rights to more developers, but until then, expect to be disappointed by EA over and over again.